Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. The latest Ship Showdown Q&A was unusually held in Jared's personal office, just like the prior week's peculiar patch notes for 4.3, which actually consisted mostly of an extended mea culpa about the state of freight elevators and the race for Stanton hauling missions. And the reason for the relocation was that their usual studio had been taken over Citizencon Direct production, which of course got my attention since I am hosting a Los Angeles Citizencon Direct watch party, and of course, I would love to have some sort of clue about what to be prepared for. At Quantum Vegas, I tried to get from Sandy Roberts some sort of hint about what the top level would be the division between Star, Citizen, and Squadron, and all I got was, of course they know, and of course they aren't going to tell. I'm going to go with a guess that Squadron will either take up nearly 0% because there'll be a whole separate launch event for it, or it will take anywhere from 50 to 100% of the 2 hours. But the one big picture that I'm looking toward to about Citizencon Direct is a hint of what 2026 will be the year of, because 2025 was the year of playability, a title that started out well enough but became more than a little ironic with Race to Stanton 4.2.1. Which brings me to Jared's mea culpa about them. His explanation about what the problem was about the freight elevators was accurate, but he ignored the elephant in the room. And the unanswered elephant in the room was why were outposts chosen as the pickup locations. The fact that they were fragile was not new. The fact that they did not self-reset was not news. The fact that, unlike the instance hangars, their capacity was limited and never intended for heavy use. Then, why did they use them? The thing is, even if the outpost elevators functioned perfectly, absolutely perfectly, they would still be a bottleneck. Number of people per hour waiting to accept a mission, number of elevators available, time to land, load, and launch a ship, it just doesn't add up. And even with the elevators being somewhat better working and many players having moved on to the Onyx locations, we are still seeing the outpost looking like a ship graveyard. So given that this is objectively and with simple mathematics a terrible choice, why was it made? And even more significantly, why was it approved? Because everyone occasionally makes a boneheaded idea. I'm certainly not immune, but the whole point of supervisory review is to be a failsafe against this kind of boneheadedness. Now, during their announcement of the Year of Playability, it was mentioned that they were doing away with the big go, no-go review meetings because they never seemed to say no-go. And also, I suspect the main people in those meetings were needed to be more concentrated on Squadron 42. But whatever streamlined review and approval process was put in place of them, and who knows, maybe the go, no-go meetings were replaced with nothing, whatever it wasn't good enough, as the race for Stanton cargo missions are prima facie proof of it. So, returning to what is the subject of what 2026 should be the year of. We know that for CIG as a whole, 2026 will be the year of Squadron 42. Or at least it should be if CIG is going to hold on to any credibility after 2 years of being declared feature complete and just in polish. And let's be clear, at the corporate level, not only is 2026 going to be the year of Squadron, but also this year was, and last year. These almost monthly events have been mostly taking staff no longer needed to make chapters for a feature complete Squadron and have them make toys to keep the children occupied. So am I saying that I don't want this also be the case for 2026? Well, both yes and no. It needs to be different, and I'll get to that in a moment. The main candidate for the persistent universe for 2026 is going to be the Year of Engineering. For the last few weeks, I've been getting almost daily reminders in the message of the day that they are getting so very close to being able to launch a tech preview of engineering. You can taste their yearning for it, and I'm guessing that with 3 months left in 2025, that 2026 will be the year that engineering becomes a reality in the game, and with it, the realization of our multi-crew ships feeling and behaving like multi-crew ships. But in order for engineering and multi-crew to be taking forefront, other supporting things also have to happen too. In particular, there are 2 things, and these are not things that you hear Jared talking about when he lists the things that they are working on: crafting, base building, new inventory, etc. And I hope that this is because they are more snazzy than the things that are really needed to go along with engineering to make multi-crew a functional reality. So 2026 needs to be the year that you can bedlog on a ship that is underway and you are only crew on, and then return to the same ship if it is still in the game.
To relog and or log in on our friends' ships and beds for the crew. Rearm, repair, and refuel from a hangar inside a capital ship like the Polaris or Idris.
And it needs to be the year that the tools for assembling and maintaining a party that Benoit introduced at the Manchester Citizencon become a reality. Those are what is needed to make it all work for engineering and multi-crew. And all this also has a lot of implication for how the game feels, but also what the game needs, including what the game needs for mission content. So let's return to what the game needs from the mission teams. And I know that this is not a nice way of saying it, but from the standpoint of the content creation of 2026, it should be, compared to 2025, the year they get adult supervision. Not so that just another choice is boneheaded as using the outposts for purposes far beyond their intended capacity doesn't get caught, but also that the missions aren't driven by, ooh, here's a nice storyline we've come up with, but rather what the evolving gameplay of the universe needs to support it. The maxim used to be that gameplay drove lore, but 2025 seemed to be that the story just gets to go wherever it wants. But if we return to the game needs of the verse drives mission content, what does the verse say we need for missions, particularly with being the year where multi-crew is coming into its fore? I am going to mention 3 things, large, small, and in between. All of them are constant needs, not something to be filled with a limited time for monthly event. The first and most significant are things that you actually need a capital ship to do. CIG, in addition to all of them that they've already sold, is already having 24 waves of selling the Idris. A ship that once you get past the novelty of how large it is, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that you need a fully crewed Idris to do other than showing off your disposable income. So missions that you need a fully crewed Idris or Polaris for should be top priority. However, it will be hard to actually do them unless they also solve the persistence issue of being able to bed log out on a ship that you are also a crew member on and return to the same ship. I know that they've teased Benoit Bozinger doing a talk about persistence soon. I hope that he is going to say that that is on the agenda for 2026. The middle size has to do with the slip note during the Q&A that we'll be getting the Apollo medevac as a flyable ship before the end of the year. Unfortunately, as things stand right now, the Apollo is just as pointless as the Idris. It's just big, but for no real purpose. I know we all want to have a NERSA, Pisces, Rescue, Cutlass, Red, etc., along with us on an FPS mission, but when was the last time that your problem with your medical ship was that it didn't have enough beds? So what is needed are missions with mass casualty events, say ship crashes, where there are multiple injured NPCs that need to be found and rescued and a time limit, and you might need several smaller medical ships or the Apollo, and reason to have the new ship. And we don't need more massive multi-hour team raid content. I don't have a problem with what they have, but what we need are more diverse gameplay loops that allow us to keep up with the ships that we already have bought. I know this may not be a shared opinion, but in a single-player game like Squadron, having an involved ongoing storylines behind the mission action is essential. It's why they're called chapters. But in an MMO, they wind up being a reminder that, in fact, we've done this mission so many times before that I've memorized the narration I'm going to hear before I hear it. In an MMO, I can imagine that there's a new reason why I'm attacking this bunker that I've attacked so many times before. But when the exact same storyline element plays, I'm reminded of how this is Groundhog Day. And final thing that I would hope this mission team does in 2026 is more 20-minute game loops, particularly those at higher skill levels. Remember how we used to have identify the body and retrieve the lost the released cargo and get the back box missions? Not planet-shattering stuff, but for the player who has only a few minutes at the end of their day, a way to get their space fix in. But more than that, with these new multi-part big, huge mission chains, there's going to be plenty of times when you've, say, wrapped up your Hathor mining mission chain, and you're not ready to quit, but you certainly don't have the time to wait for the reset in order to do a whole nother one. That's where the 20-minute game loop fits. There is a kind of preset notion that beginner missions are the short ones to get players early quick success feedback, and that is true. But advanced players also have those same 20-minute fragments of game time. So around to the top and 2026 and the hints we're going to get at Citizencon Direct. It pretty much is certain that it's going to be a big year for Squadron and would be even more newsworthy if it wasn't, but I am also having big hopes for the persistent universe with engineering, multi-crew, and associated content. Which brings you all around to Citizencon Direct Watch Party, where for those of you in Southern California, I hope you can be there, so we can enjoy it all in each other's company with a drink and a double dog. And in addition, CIG will be providing me souvenirs and giveaways to have at the event.
It will be a really cool experience, and at 2 hours, it won't hurt your butt on a bar stool. Nope.
Early discount tickets are still available until the end of the month, so just a few more days. In addition, sponsorships are available at the same site if you'd like to include recognition, for example, your org, and the Raise Captains members, you're already included in that special recognition. Plus, we have our Grow the Channel ship giveaway at CitizenCon for the winner's choice of the Erasta or Merchantman and the IAE Week giveaway for the Starlancer Max. 1 entry per video for those. Members get entered automatically, and everyone else just subscribe and comment, somehow including the secret word. And the secret word for this mini is what you think 2026 should be the year of in the persistent universe.
The lobby is Armistice Zone, Deplo.
Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse.
Ow!
This is Danny Raymond with Raise Guy.
I thought it was Armistice.
I said the lobby is Armistice.
I'm sorry, Carl.